And now let's start measuring arcs. Let's talk a little bit about definitions. We want to measure arcs. That's what mathematics does. We go about measuring things. Since there are three types of arcs, there are actually three ways to determine their measures. For a minor arc, the measure of the arc is its corresponding central angle. So arc C has a measure of 102 degrees because angle AOC, the central angle that it's called inscribes the arc, is 102 degrees. The measure of major arcs is determined by taking 360 and subtracting the measure of the corresponding minor arc. So the measure of arc ARC is going to equal 360 minus the measure of arc AC. Thus, the measure of arc ARC is going to equal 258 degrees. Notice how we denote the measure of an arc by using the little m in front of the arc, just like we did with an angle. And of course, this one's kind of a no-brainer. The measure of a semicircle is 180 degrees, because half of a circle is 180 degrees. The measure of the arc formed by two adjacent arcs is the sum of the measures of the two arcs. That's a fancy way of saying that the measure of arc ARC is going to equal the measure of arc AR plus the measure of arc RC. It's a postulate because it's one of those no-duh things. You put two pieces together, you get the whole thing. So let's find the measures of some arcs. Ooh. So the measure of arc AS is going to be the same as its central angle, so that's 78 degrees. The measure of arc SAR, you will notice that segment SR is a diameter, so arc SAR is a semicircle. The measure of arc SAR has to be 180 degrees. The measure of arc SRC, that's this major arc starting at S, coming clear up around the circle down to C. Well, that's a major arc, so we will take 360 minus the corresponding minor arc, which is 70 degrees. So therefore, the measure of arc SRC is going to be 290 degrees. And finally, arc CAR, that begins here at C, goes up around past A, and ends at R. So it is also a major arc. However, we don't know the measure of arc CR here. This is one where we can use the angle addition postulate because we happen to know the measure of arc SC and the measure of arc SAR. So we can add those two together, and the measure of arc CAR becomes 270 degrees. I think it's very important to note that the measure of an arc has nothing to do with how long it is. If we put in a concentric circle here, you will notice that arc VL has exactly the same measure as arc AS. Arc LVY has exactly the same measure as arc SAR. Arc LYT has exactly the same measure as arc SRC, and arc TVY has the same measure as arc CAR. So it's very important to know that an arc measure has nothing to do with how long the arc is.